I'm Catherine Sorensen.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Cortez.
And you're listening to the Firewalker Podcast.
What's a Firewalker Podcast?
Oh, funny you should ask. Stories, experiences, lessons we've learned, walked through, experienced. Yes. Why do I feel so rusty? It's like my first time.
It's been like 2 weeks.
Oh my God. That have shaped us into who we are and build us and fire us up.
Yes, that too. So real quick, while we have your attention before you skip past this part, you can rate us on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars, please.
Yeah, 5 stars.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe, share it with a friend, whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yes.
Don't skip past that part.
No, why would they? Rude.
Don't hit that like 15-second ahead button.
I think it's 30 ahead, 15
Oh,
behind.
15 behind, you're right.
Yeah. Don't.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. And today, our guest, Melissa.
Hi.
Elizabeth, introductions, please.
Today, we're going to talk to Melissa Herndon.
Hi.
Melissa and I have been friends since like 1994.
Yeah, 6th grade.
6th grade, Catholic school. That's a whole other podcast right there, actually.
Yeah.
But today, we're not talking about Catholic school. We're actually going to talk about how Melissa was able to break the cycle of a abusive relationship, and actually it's a story of success, not a story of failure. And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Absolutely.
So I think the first thing is we should probably get maybe just like a quick overview of your relationship that we are going to talk about today.
Okay. Well, I was very young, very naive, 17, everything, I met a man who was 11 years older than me, very charming, very intriguing. He was gonna, change my life, okay? And he did. He changed my life. It became toxic almost immediately, and I didn't realize. You never realize when you're in it. I don't know.
It's okay. So how did you guys meet?
So we were salesmen. We were both salespeople
Right.
At a furniture store.
Right.
And he introduced himself so suave and just, I don't know, said all the right things. I mean, just said everything I wanted to hear. You're 17 and, you're beautiful and, I could, change your life and, I'm going to give you everything. And I believed him, and we ended up having a child together, getting married, and as soon as I got pregnant, it just went downhill from there, rapidly.
So, let's see. So you got married, and then you got pregnant with your first child.
Yeah.
And as soon as you found out you were pregnant, all of a sudden it was like a light switch?
Yes.
Would that be like a fair
absolutely.
description?
Absolutely. And I don't know what it was about me being pregnant. I don't know if he felt like he owned me at that point. That's kind of what it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you're mine now, and I can really do whatever I want.
Okay, so what was the first incidence of violence in your relationship?
Well, as far as violence, I mean, it was always emotional and mental, always making me feel like I wasn't good enough. He really attacked my self-esteem, that's how it started. But the violence, I was pregnant, and he choked me. That was the first thing. And it was pretty violently. And at that point, I didn't even know what had happened. I'm like, I was a kid still. I mean, I was 21 years old. What is happening? This doesn't happen. This isn't, stories and movies. This isn't real life. And I was so scared. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't, even my family, my mother, she warned me several times. So
you think she saw?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
everybody saw.
Yeah.
Friends, family, they immediately but I could see it. I don't want to say I couldn't, but I'm like, okay, he's going to do better. Like, that was a fluke. Like, it's not going to keep happening. Well, it escalated from there, and every pregnancy was worse. Every single one. And I don't know what it is about the pregnancy, but he just, it's like something happened in his head. And it's like, it made him crazy. I can't explain it. Like, he was allowed to do whatever he wanted. You know, he cheated on me left and right, but it's like I was his property to do whatever he wanted with. But then he could go do whatever, you know? And I came to a point where I knew, like, I have, you know, daughters, and I saw my daughters, because he did it in front of them several times. And I saw my daughter's face, and it's like something clicked. And I'm like, oh my God, my daughters think this is normal. And I knew at that point, I've got to get out of this. I don't know how, I don't know, because he had everything in his name. There was nothing in my name. He made sure I had nothing. Like, financially, he made sure that he had complete control of everything. So if I were to leave, I was leaving with nothing. So I'm like, okay, like, I tried to make a plan. I mean, there were several times I had to go to her house because of situations that happened. My mom's, like, it happened so many times, like, especially towards the end. And then I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? And then the last thing that happened, I basically just ran. I was in a t-shirt. Like, I don't even think I had panties on. Like, I just ran. I grabbed my keys, and he chased me down the street, and I ran to a house, and he had me up against this house, choking me, and I had my keys, and I was trying to get away. I finally broke away, drove to my mom's house, and I couldn't even get the kids. Went back for the kids later, and the police wouldn't let me take them.
Wow.
So, but I didn't look back.
Yeah.
Like, I finally was like, I can't do this anymore. And I went to my mom, and my mom's like, you know, you can't go back. I was like, I promise you, this is it. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Looking at my daughter's faces was it for me. Like, that was it. And
That was
I'm
your
like,
moment. You're done.
yes, that was my breaking point. Like, I can't imagine somebody putting their hands on my child. Like, if this was my kid and a man did this to my child, it'd be over. So why is this okay for me?
Interesting that you said that.
Yeah, so when you went to your mom's, was she just like snuggling you like crazy? Like, how dare he? And what was that? Or what was that like?
It was hard for my mom at first. I don't want to say she wasn't supportive, because she absolutely was. But I think it was just so much to take in. I don't think my mom knew how to handle it. She open arms.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I don't think she believed me, because
Like that you were done.
yeah, because how many times did I go back? I mean,
Right.
let's be honest. It was hard. It was hard because, you know, he used the kids. He's like, if you leave me, I promise you will never see these kids again. I promise you. So, I mean, what do you do at that point?
Yeah.
You know? So
So how long had this been going on? So you're 17
Yes.
until 21?
no. So I was with him. I was married to him so I left him in 2011. 12 years
Wow.
total.
Can I just commend you on your strength? That like women live their whole lives in abusive relationships like that. Like you found courage to
Thank you.
seriously though.
That means a lot. Like it means
Big.
Yeah.
a lot. It was the hardest thing to do in my life. Like, it took everything I had. Like, literally everything I had in my body.
I'm so glad you did.
Oh, me too. Me too. And I'm still, like, I'm hard on myself because I'm mad because I wasted so much time and I put up with so much. But, I mean, I'm happy now. Like, I love life again, and that is the best feeling ever.
Well,
Ever.
And to change the word wasted, because like when we sat down and started talking, and you're like, this story for me is it's so special for me to be able to share this, to be able to like help other people that are in situations like this. So like, and then also with moving towards, I couldn't be where I am today without this. And so it's like, did you waste? I mean, it's shitty experience, but like you really fucking waded through some hard shit to get where you are today.
Yeah.
Like, incredible. I mean, I would say, wish it never happened.
Of course.
I mean, like all the shitty stuff that happens, but then it's like you fucking made the best. Like, look at where you are today. Like,
well, and I still believe, and I've always believed this. Everything happens for a reason. It's a really fucked up reason. Like I don't know.
I don't either.
Completely why it happened, but I appreciate things so much more. Like I appreciate every moment. You know, I mean, my husband is so wonderful now, and I appreciate everything he does. I mean, if he does the dishes for me, or, you know, the littlest things, and he's like, why are you thanking me? Like, I don't understand. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, the relationships I was in, I was doing everything. I was 9 months pregnant, shoveling snow. I appreciate everything my husband now does. I mean, he's so hardworking, he's so loving, and I mean, even if we have an argument or a fight or, you know, I never feel like he doesn't love me or I'm not good enough. Like, I never have to question his love. And like, for me, that's such an amazing feeling because I've never had that.
Yeah.
Ever. In my 38 years of life.
How do you get to that space? That seems like major personal growth to be from like, because I know, so from like, kind of, I've never been in your shoes, nor have I been physically abused. But I think that a lot of it has to do with gaining like self-worth back after this happened.
Yes.
So finding like your purpose, your voice, like you lived so small for so long, and now it's like coming out. So how did you feel like that what was that like becoming for you? Because we were saying about feeling like this love that you like just know is there.
Yeah.
Kind of an unconditional. Like just that's a lot of work, and I'm proud of you. And wow, how'd you get there?
Well, I appreciate it, and I can't even tell you. It's just something I knew I had to do. Like, I was at a very low point in my life because I ended up moving. That's what got me away. I moved away. I moved down south, and that's actually how I ended up with my husband now. But I knew.
Fun fact, though, we graduated, a year behind him?
2 years.
Oh, yes. 2 years?
2 years. He graduated in 98.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he graduated in 98. Yeah, so we literally grew up in the same town, but it took me going to Texas to hook up with him.
Oh,
and that's the thing too, is I pursued him.
The stars aligning.
I know.
Yeah, I pursued him, which
so hot.
Yeah, it was, and he was apprehensive, like he was, and it was weird because we went out and he planned the best date. Like, he took me to this amazing restaurant right on the bay, and we had this, I mean, it was just great. I mean, we just clicked immediately. It was amazing. I've never had anything like that before. And he just thought I was great. So that was nice too. And it's just, right away I got flowers, and it was nice. I've never had that before. I've never had somebody make an effort for me. It was always me, making the effort, and, me feeling like I had to live up to, what they wanted. And I was just so sick of it. I was so sick of it. And that's something I think people, women, men, whoever that have gone through something like domestic violence, it's like they feel like they don't deserve it. And that's hard to get past. But once you get past that and like, you know what? I do deserve it. I do deserve to be treated like that. It's so liberating. Like, it's an amazing feeling. And then when you actually get it, I'm telling you, nothing beats that. Like, nothing beats that. It's so amazing.
So if you could go back in time and like have a conversation with your 17-year-old self,
Jeez.
what would you say to Melissa when she was 17 and in the beginning stages of her relationship that turned out not so amazing?
So if you would have asked me that even like 5 years ago, I would have been like, okay, run. When you see this guy's face, freaking run,
Book it.
run,
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
But now I don't think I would say that because I've learned from it. I've grown. I mean, I'm not even the same person now that I was when I was in that relationship. So I think the biggest thing is learn from your mistakes. Like, you know what? You're going to go through some shit. But you know what? You got to learn from it. Like, that's the thing. You got to learn from it. So, do I regret meeting him? I mean, yeah, I do. I do regret it. I wish I would have been smarter, but I mean, I met him for a reason.
Yeah.
Messed up as it was. I mean, I did. And I mean, my life is good now, you know, so I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. And I don't think if I wouldn't have gone through that, I don't think I would have appreciated everything like I do now. Like, I appreciate even the smallest things.
So they say on like if you look up like what to do in an abusive relationship kind of thing, like they talk about having like a escape plan. It's not an escape plan, but like there's like a plan.
Yeah.
Like you said, you didn't. You literally ran out the door with just your
Yeah,
t-shirt
you
on.
always want, I mean, you play it in your head, you want to have a plan. And if you're in that position and you can get a plan, absolutely. Definitely make a plan. And, you know, if you're in that, especially if you're married, I mean, I would get your ducks in a row. Like, if you can, if you're able to,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because
do
you
that.
sound like you got a little screwed with the financials. Like,
that was
from what
the
I pick
biggest
up
thing.
is it's like,
Yeah.
you'll never, like, you're not going to be okay without me. And it looks like you made
Okay,
us.
but-
Yes?
The craziest part of this, she's the one that made the money.
So you had to pay
She paid
him?
the bills.
Yeah, but
So-
nothing was been in my name. He'd never worked.
Never.
Never.
How did that happen? I mean,
Everything
wow.
was in his name. He literally put everything in his name.
Well, then
so
when
I
you
would
stopped
basically,
working,
all the money that I made, I would give to him. And everything.
like you would
went.
cash the check or just put it in the bank account? Because money
Yeah, I
leaves
didn't
a
even have
trail.
a bank account. I didn't have my own bank account. Literally everything was in his name.
God damn.
Everything.
Okay, so note to 17-year-old self, deposit into your checking account first.
Yes. And if you're in that position and you can have a different account
Yeah.
without that person knowing, definitely do that. Because the financial part, I mean, it killed me. Like, it was the hardest part. I mean, it was. Because when you go to court, I mean, he had, of course, the best attorney. You know, he actually went through several attorneys, but I mean, he had this freaking bomb-ass attorney, and he just raped me over the coals. It was really bad. It was bad. It was like the abuse just didn't stop. And
Wow.
in court, it's like he made me out to be such a horrible person, and I was the bad guy. And it's like the blame just never ended, and everyone believed everything because he was such a, you know,
The snake charmer.
yeah. Yeah, he was really good with how he talked and came across. Certain people saw through his bullshit, Elizabeth being one of them. My mom, you know, they saw through it, but he was good. I mean, he was good.
And the people that saw through his bullshit, he immediately
Like kicked out of your life,
Right.
I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yep.
Hard ball up, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
cannot
Right.
see those
Like,
people.
including my sister.
Yeah.
That
my-
they say that. I mean, that's
Yeah,
also
my sister's wedding. And I feel awful about it to this day. Thank God my sister has forgiven me for a lot of things because she understands. But yeah, my sister got married, and I had to tell him that I was going to the gym, and my friend came and picked me up, and I had to wear gym clothes to my sister's wedding, and I had to sneak around. And then he still found out and beat the living crap out of me because I went to my sister's wedding, and he refused. He's like, you better never talk to her again. And my niece was born. I missed that. I missed all of that.
It's like he isolated you.
Absolutely. I had to sneak around to talk to my family, my friends.
So it seems like the abuser cuts off all communication,
Yep.
all safety networks.
Yep. So that's something I would like to share, because that's something, like, the family takes such offense to it. Like, if you're in that situation and someone in your family, you suspect it, and they isolate you, no, it's probably not their fault. That's really important, because you want to be there when the time comes.
It's like a trauma response.
Yes.
It's a true trauma response.
Yes. But you want to be there if they're ready to leave, and it takes everything they have to leave. They need somewhere to go.
Right.
That's the most important thing. Even if they treated you like crap, because I treated my family, awful. Like, I did. But it wasn't because I wanted to. I never wanted to treat my family like that. Never in a million years. But I didn't have a choice. Like, I literally did not have a choice. But once my family realized that, they were completely understanding. Like, my mom and my sister have forgiven me for a lot of things. But they get it now. They know that wasn't me, And I think that's important, because you want to be there for that family member when they're ready, because it's going to take everything they got.
Yeah.
But I can see where it's hard, because I know, just like in our friendship,
Yes.
like
Little egos get a little bumped.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
hard,
Like,
yes.
but
Like, we were
Yes.
best friends for so many years,
Yes.
and then to, like, not, see
Yeah.
each other, hang
Yeah.
out, like, you do get butthurt.
Yeah,
I can only
absolutely.
imagine.
Not saying that I wouldn't be there, and I
Right.
hope I was there for you,
No, you absolutely were.
but I can see
Absolutely.
where, like, it would be hard to.
And I'm sorry I was a shitty friend.
Oh,
Like,
please,
I'm sorry I was. But I was. I was a shitty friend. I was a shitty daughter. I
How
was.
could have you shown up as your best self in those moments you're getting the bloody, like, your ass kicked every day? Like, how could you
Right.
have shown
Right.
up differently? I mean, honestly,
Right.
like, giving grace to yourself at that age, there's a lot of grace to be given to you. Like, you fucking did a shit ton, and if maybe that didn't come across as, like, so self-lovey or lovey to everybody else, like, you literally were protecting your fucking life, like.
I still feel bad though.
Yeah.
Like, I feel, because that's not me. That wasn't
But I think
me.
everyone that knows you and loves you is, like, they know that. It's not, you don't need to convince them of that.
Right.
Because I knew it wasn't you. Like, you didn't even look like yourself. Like,
No.
She changed her hair, you changed the way you dressed. Like,
Mhm.
everything was
Everything.
completely different.
Yeah.
And it was because that's what he wanted her to reflect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what was some of the, like, so you've left, where did you feel like your voice, like, where, how can I state that question better? Like, this, like, learning to become who you are, right? Like, I feel like that's part of, like, I mean, from my own lessons I've learned in life, like, I'm learning, like, where do the steps to become who I am is learning who I actually am.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
like, through this, so you, like, left this hard, insanely horrible, like, place. Where's the steps? Like, did you notice the steps happening? Did you, like, I don't even know how to phrase that question. Does that make any sense?
No, I think I get what you're saying. It took a lot of work, because I knew kind of who I wanted to be, but I'm like, how do I get there?
You had to, like, undo the hair and the outfits and all the shit he told you to do.
Yeah, like, and it took a lot. Like, I was telling Elizabeth the other day, when I first met my husband, we started dating, like, I was not a good person. Like, I put him through a lot, because I had so many insecurities, and I had such a wall up, and
Wow.
I was, like, in defense mode. Like,
Yeah.
everything, I felt like I was being attacked, but I wasn't, and he just looked at me like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Why are you getting mad at me? And I'm like, I'm not mad at you. I would not trust him, and he's never given me any reason not to trust him, but I was just such in that mode that I couldn't snap out of it.
You didn't know anything different.
No, and I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be like that. But it's like I just couldn't. I couldn't snap out of it. But then I was like, okay, I need to get my shit together. I need to be better because I can't let this destroy me. And I think that was it. I just had to want to be better. I wanted a better life. I wanted to feel better. I'm like, I can't let him win. And that's what I felt. I felt like, okay, if I do this to myself, if I can't get myself out of this, he wins. He wins. If I let this destroy me, then it's over. Like, he got exactly what he wanted. So I was like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Good.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not doing this. There's a saying, and I don't know what it is exactly, but the best revenge is what? No revenge, being happy, something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And to let them have their shit on their side of the street, and you are on your side of the street living your life.
Yes, exactly. So, and I knew that my happiness would just freaking destroy him. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna live my best life, and I'm gonna be happy, and that's all there is to it. There's no other option.
And props to your husband.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he's the real MVP. Like, let's be real. He is the real MVP because I'm telling you, he put up with a lot.
Would you feel comfortable talking about what we talked about earlier today with the dreams you were having when you were with your husband now in the beginning?
Yeah. So I would get like horrible night terrors. I'm talking like almost every night. And this is when me and him first started dating, and I would wake up and I would attack him. Like, I would have no recollection of it, but like, he's like, you were kind of scaring me. Like, and I actually haven't had one in a really long time, like a couple of years.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, and I remember some of them, but the majority, I don't have any recollection. He would tell me, he's like, dude, you scared me. Like, legit, like, something is not right. Like, something is wrong. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to say.
That takes a lot to be able to take that on. Like,
he
took that on personally.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even his shit to take on. Like,
no, I was a mess. I mean, there were times, and he may be upset that I told this, but we can edit it out if it's not.
Fine.
Of course we can.
But there were times where he would come home from work and I would just be a mess. Like, I would be crying on the floor or whatever, and he would just be so amazing. He'd come home and he's like, what do you need? You know, I'll go get you flowers or a food. What do you need? What do you need? And yeah, like, that happened so often in the beginning. Like, so often. And he just stuck with me. Like, I don't know. I mean, he did. He's like, well, I love you. I'm like, but why? Like, I felt like I wasn't worth the love. Like, that's how I felt. Like, you shouldn't love me. Like, I'm not lovable. That's how I felt.
oh my gosh, I'm so sad about that. So, other than a financial plan, which wasn't really an option for you, what else is something that's important? Like, what would you have needed from your friends, your family, your mom to help you out? Like, what would have been a great aid in you getting out?
I mean, I think just the support, because when everything went down, I felt really alone. Like, I was really scared because I didn't know what was going to happen. So if you can just give the support, I think that's huge. Because I was afraid to tell anybody, you know? And when I went to my mom, like, I didn't even tell her really what happened. Like, how do you tell somebody that, you know? So, and I don't think my mom or my sister really even had an idea, like maybe a little bit, but not to the degree. so they tried to be supportive in the beginning, but I think it was just tough because I think there's like a stigma. Like, okay, if this is going on, why don't you just leave?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big thing. And it really angers me when I hear
Ignorant.
that.
So ignorant.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if you haven't lived it, and it's so hard because that person makes you feel like you can't.
Well, he's like, what, 12 years? He literally spent 12 years isolating you.
Yeah.
Like, of course you, like, who do you turn to?
Yes.
He's literally pigeonholed you.
Right.
Yes.
And now it's like, I mean, you just said, like, I burned bridges, I did this, I did that, and that, like, not proud of, like, where, like, fucking bastard.
And he made it like, you need me. You can't survive without me. Like, that's how he, and I realized at a point, okay, I can do it without him. But like, I was terrified. I'm like, from 17 on, I've been with this man. So can I do it by myself? What do I do? Like, I've never really been on my own. You know, like, I moved out of my mom's house at 16 or 17, you know, kind of jumped around. And then he's like, oh, well, I'll take you in. You can stay with me. And then from then on, it's like, okay, well, I took you in. I took care of you for all this time, and you need me. So it was like instilled in my brain, you know, almost like a brainwashing type thing.
So when you left, like that day, when you
Mm-hmm.
ran out in your t-shirt, it didn't actually end there. And I think that's
No.
important to
No.
know,
Gosh.
because I think a lot of people think if you haven't been in this situation, like, just leave, like you said,
Yeah.
and then, like, problem solved, get a divorce, right?
I was
Yeah.
literally in that spot. Like, I was that person that
Right.
thought that it just ended with the divorce. So,
So
thank you.
it didn't.
No.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I mean,
If you're not comfortable, you truly
Yeah,
do
you
not
don't
have
have
to.
to.
No, I'm
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
Like, I'm good. No, I feel like it still is going on. It's still,
How long's it been?
So, my divorce was final in 2012.
So 8 years.
8 years, yes. And, I mean, the whole divorce process was a nightmare, and it never really stopped. I mean, I went to Texas in 2015, and it still was happening. He was still emailing me. He was still messing with me. He did some really awful things. And it's still happening today. It's still happening today. I don't give him anything back. If he does try to get a hold of me, I won't engage in anything with him. Nothing, because that's the way it has to be. But it's never gonna go away. It's never gonna go away. But I've learned to just kind of accept things the way they are and just move on. I mean, that's all I can do at this point. So,
Wow.
yeah, when people say, "Oh, just leave and that's it," like they don't stop. They are relentless until they destroy you. Like that's
Well, I guess
their
why? You
goal.
were his 12-year project. Why would he let his possession
Yes.
just go?
Yes, and it's funny that you say that because he said to me when I was 17, he's like, "Oh, I like to get him young because then I can make him exactly how I want."
Are you kidding me? Did he fuck over or were you the first?
No, I was not the first. I was not the first.
How's he not in jail?
That's a great question.
It really is.
That's a great question.
I'm so sorry.
And you know, I wish that some of the other women that he did this to, I wish they would speak out about it. Like, because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And because he wasn't just, yes, he was physically abusive and mentally, but I mean, he did things to women in general that were horrible, just horrible. I mean, he always said women and men actually, he would meet someone and the first thing he thought is, what can I get from this person? I'm sure you remember him saying that.
I do.
That was his mentality. What can I get from this person? As soon as he met someone, what can they do for me?
Yeah. And if they couldn't do anything for him, well, then they were inconsequential.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, as a friend, as a family member, what would you say a friend of someone who's going through one of these situations could look for? Like, what's a red flag? So, like, what should I have seen as your friend, or what should your mom have seen and called out that would have maybe helped you be braver, I guess? I mean, obviously you knew,
Yeah.
but you didn't.
Honestly, I don't think there's anything anybody can do. You can be supportive, but until that person feels like they can do it and they find it in their self to do it, no matter what anybody says or does, you can't help them. Like, you can be supportive and you can be there, but they have to find it within themselves.
Do you think people expressing their opinion about him to you actually drove you
Closer or further?
I think closer. I do. Because it's like I felt like I had to protect him. I know as messed up as that sounds, but that's kind of how it was. Like, I was always sticking up for him. Why? I don't know. I honestly can't answer that. But like my mom, because my mom saw bruises and marks, and I made up excuses like that. Like, okay, yeah, we'll go with that. That's what happened. And my mom knew. I mean, she wasn't stupid. She knew what was going on, but she knew that there was nothing she could do about it.
Gosh, it makes me so sad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you see it happening or you see a situation, I mean, I think just let them know. I wouldn't, don't like attack, because that's not going to be beneficial.
Right.
I think just saying, hey, if you ever need anything, if you feel like you're in a place where you're not safe or you need help, like, you can call me. Like, it doesn't matter what time of day. Like, if you need anything, you can call me. If you need me to come pick you up, like, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I think that is what people who are going through a situation, I think that's what they need. Just so they don't feel alone. Because that's the worst feeling, is having that feeling like, okay, I don't have a choice. I have to stay, because where else am I going to go?
And that was his goal. So,
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's how we're going to feel.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so strong. It's awesome. Like, what a story.
Thank you. But see, I don't even feel that strong. Like, I just did what I had to do. You know? Like,
But you really are.
Well, I appreciate that. Like, that means a lot. It does. It means a lot.
Not only did you literally, like, I say this a lot, live to tell the tale. Like, even after a night of drinking, I live to tell the tale. But you literally live to tell the tale, but not just tell it and survive it, but, like, here you are, and you have a whole new life and love and marriage, and you've reconnected with your family, and your sister forgave you, and you have a daughter, and, like, it's fucking awesome.
It is. It really is.
Like it's the success story from, like,
So
I don't
much
even know
hope.
where.
Yeah.
So much hope for people listening and stuff like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the thing. Like, even when you feel like you're at your worst, like, I mean, there were times where I was like, I should just die. Like, you just feel that way. Like, I have nothing left. Like, I can't do this anymore. And I was there. Where I just, like, I don't care anymore. Like, I just don't care. But then something in me was like, okay, how do I want to play this? Like, do I want to just, that's it? Like, I can't go on anymore? And then I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I mean, I can't let him win, if nothing else, you know? So I think that's where I got all my motivation.
Yeah, they say that, like, I know it's written down somewhere, but like that they say, like, the victim's mentality is why me, where the survivors is what's next.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like you're like the exact, like, you are that quote.
Yeah.
Thank
You are the
I
fucking
appreciate
one.
that. Like I feel like y'all are giving me way too much credit.
You know what though? Okay, to be fair, like, so this morning I was journaling.
Yeah.
And I was like on the topic of who in your life inspires you? Like, who's lived a life that's inspired you? And I was like, oh my God, okay, like, I'm seriously thinking, like, who? Like, okay, I like this piece in somebody, and this piece in somebody, and this in somebody. So I have, like, kind of this collective. And then I continue writing, and I was like, I literally have in my life and who I am every single piece of all of those things. So I'm sitting there journaling about, like, what inspires me of all these other lives, and I'm like, holy fuck, I am so much more inspiring than I ever could have fucking imagined.
Yeah.
But it's hard to see in ourselves.
Yes.
It's hard to see that, like, you know what? All those pieces in everyone else's lives that you look up to and you see, like, I can bet you $1 billion you fucking do them.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So that is why, like, you are that fucking quote.
You are.
Like, you are. It's like, what now? Like, you
Thank
go and you fucking do it. I'm really, really beyond proud of you. Like,
Thank you.
it's so, I can't even imagine being in your shoes. I really can't. Like, I'm so grateful for, like, stories like this, like your willingness and openness to share this, because,
Thank you.
like, I would never know. Like, you're giving me a gift to be able to have empathy. And I'm serious, though.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
100%.
you.
Like, I wouldn't have sat in this space unless you did this. Like, you gave this. Like, this is a gift you're giving to so many people.
Well, I mean, that's what I wanted to do. Like, I think I've told you about it. Like, I've thought about writing a book.
Oh, you could absolutely.
And I'm
write
like, I don't have time for that.
You know,
Like,
there's people that will write it for you.
Yes,
You just
there
tell
are.
it. You just tell it
But-
and they write it.
And I've like called, like, you know, domestic violence shelters and that kind of thing, because I feel like I'm at the point in my life where I want to help somebody else. I want to, because I know it's so hard. It's so hard. And just to feel like you can't get out of it. Like, I can't, you know, I'm just going to have to suck it up. I'm going to have to deal with it. Like, you don't have to. Like, please don't. Like, if I could just save somebody from living that, you know, like, I am.
If you can touch one person.
Yes, it's true. And I know that's so cliche or
It's
whatever
not,
you
though.
want to call it, but
It's
it's
really
so
not.
true, because I just remember living through that, and I'm just like, how is this happening to me? Like, what did I do to deserve this, you know? And you just feel so alone, and it's hard. I mean, it's so hard. But it doesn't have to be. You can get past it. You know, you absolutely can.
There's a whole nother life waiting for you.
Well, and that's just it. Like, I can't even fathom if I was still with this person.
You
Can
wouldn't be
you
alive.
imagine? Like,
You wouldn't be alive, Melissa.
no.
You would be dead.
I fully believe that. So, I mean, if you're in it, like, you can find the strength inside to get out of it. Like, you can. You got to dig deep. You got to really get in there. But you can. And it can be so much better. Like, so much better.
So I'm going to go ahead and I didn't ask Melissa permission for this, so hopefully she doesn't get mad at me. I'm going to go ahead and say, if you are in a situation like this and you need somebody to talk to, if you message us, I'll put you in connection with Melissa.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm totally fine with that. That's absolutely fine.
Even if it's just like you need to cry or bitch or just say, I understand, or I feel alone,
Absolutely.
I'll connect you.
Yes.
So Glad I,
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Glad you agreed to that, 'cause I would've been
no,
I would love to help. If I can help anyone, I would love that.
that would have been fucking awkward if you said no.
Yeah, yes, it would. But I would.
Excuse me.
I would love.
Actually, I don't want to talk to you.
No.
No, I would absolutely
kind.
do that.
So go ahead and message us, and we will put you in contact with Melissa. Like I said, anything. If you just need a shoulder to cry on, if you have a question, if you need someone to hold your hand through possibly leaving or being brave enough or putting together a plan, she'll help you.
Yeah.
And it'll stay between us. Like
Absolutely.
I will absolutely keep all of it.
Love it.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
thank you, Melissa.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah. Anything?
No, I mean, I think that's about it.
Oh, that was a lot.
Yeah, no, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on. This was very liberating. Very liberating.
I love it.
It is like a very healing
Yes.
space in a way to just be able to
Yes.
like just say and share, and especially when there's the opportunity given to like if we could touch one person.
Yes, definitely.
So share this episode, subscribe, like
Yes.
like honestly, like if you were to say like episode, you could save someone's life, like in a way, like share these episodes, like
Yes.
this really could have really, really changed somebody's life. So right down here, firewalkerpodcast@gmail.com.
That's us.
And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube,
What else?
all of them.
Google,
Yeah.
DM us,
Yeah.
whatever.
You can find us. We're everywhere. It's from our hearts to yours. Melissa, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Peace out.
Bye.